let's go to Big Meech. They say Big Meech is one of the biggest drug dealers in the country, and that they had to get him off the streets because he was a menace to society. Now, this is where the weighing of justice, this is where the balancing of the scales take place, because you get to determine if Big Meech done something actually wrong. Iran-Contra, your president, Ronald Reagan, your vice president, George H.W. Bush, and one of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Oliver North. What were they doing in Iran-Contra? They were selling dope. Where was they selling it at? California, New York, Michigan, Florida, Louisiana, everywhere dope was being sold in America in the 80s. When the crack epidemic hit, was part of the Iran-Contra. Well, what was the basis of Iran-Contra? When you go back and review it, you'll find this is what was going on. When Jimmy Carter was president of the United States, some kind of way, Iran ended up with some American hostages off of an airplane, and they was holding them for negotiation purposes with America, because America had some oppressive stuff going on behind the scenes. Now, sidebar, at this time that this is going on, right, America has just installed a guy in Iraq by the name of Saddam Hussein, who was in exile in the Sudan, minding his own business. The CIA sent operatives to get him from the Sudan and to put him in the house. Well, in ancient Islam, it would be called the family house, or Lil Bait, when Muhammad ruled. But since the imposters is there, they can't call it that, because it's not the true Lil Bait. It's not the true house of the faithful. So they put Saddam Hussein in power to have a point man in the Middle East. America did that. He didn't come up on his own merit. America put him in power. Remember that. Now I got to go back to Iran-Contra, because this is directly affecting Big Meech, Freeway Ricky Ross, every major drug dealer that they claim out of New York or anywhere. This also affects Harry O. Iran-Contra gave all these lifers the dope. They were acting on behalf of the government of the United States unknowingly. Now, in law, this is a violation of United States Code, I think it's 1986 color law, which say nobody should go under the color of law, represent themselves as a government personnel to commit a crime. Well, they did it. Under the conspiracy, it becomes a conspiracy when you involve people knowingly or unknowingly in this plan. So everybody they gave a conspiracy, they don't mention they co-conspirators, because they co-conspirators was your government. They can't put the government on trial in front of y'all. They got to do it behind the scenes. I'm going to put the government on trial in front of y'all. In about 9 to 10 months, we're going to use Amendment 2 of the U.S. Constitution, redress of grievances, to address all our grievances to Congress, because that's what the treaties say. That's what the treaties say. This ain't their land, and this ain't America. They got y'all tricked. This land is called Amur Inca. And what they told y'all is Africa is Afar Inca, right? Now, you can look those terms up, and you'll find in Africa you got a tribe called the Afar. Over here you had a tribe, they call them Olmec, but they was Amur. And they call them Olmec because of the tribe land that they lived on was named Olmec, but the people were called Amur. So now you see people talking about Moorish law. This all related. So now when we get to Big Meech in there, they got him serving all this time. The boy ain't did nothing that the government didn't facilitate. The government done that to Big Meech. They gave him the dope. They let him make the money. When he made the money and he started to, they couldn't figure out why this young black man with all these soldiers and ain't nobody dropping no information. They couldn't figure it out. So finally they end up getting somebody in there, and I'm not going to say no rappers like Jeezy name or nothing, and I'm not going to tell none, that ain't none of my business. Meech will tell you though. Meech will tell you who told on him. Meech will tell you who the undercover agents is. And before I go any further in this video, make sure y'all go back and watch Lawrence Fishburne's movie Deep Cover, because this is how they trick all these men into getting caught up in their system. They send other men that look like them, deep cover, black or white, it don't matter. They dress you up like a biker and send you into Hell's Angels. Hell's Angels, man, Hell's Angels business. They don't mess with civilians. Hell's Angels, they don't bother civilians, so why do the government give them shit? They can't control them. Any element that the false government can't control, it tries to destroy it. And so how do we get these leaders out? If you put one leader ahead of the rest of them, you lose. They got to all be there together. Every political prisoner has to be brought up with the grievance of the political prison. Show the connection of the government with the act. What is Jeff Ford in there? Why is this brother in there all these goddamn years and don't nobody know how to get him out? It's real simple. Nobody is showing what he was doing and why he was doing it. They only showing you the end result that the government wants you to see. Now, let's talk about government. The very word government means mind control. Govern, control, mentis, mind control. So this is not really a real government of the people, for the people, by the people. This is a mind control government. They telling you right in the word, we're going to control your mind. We're going to govern your mentis. So the next thing we have to do is we have to figure out, okay, well, where's the power coming from? And how is these motherfuckers staying in power? Staying in power by your silence. By collective silence, we collectively agree. That's called a tacit agreement in law. A silent agreement in law. Tacit. Look it up. T-A-C-I-T. A tacit agreement. That means you agreed to something by not objecting to it. The only thing you have to object to is wrongdoing. You never have to object to somebody doing the right thing to go ahead and do it. But if somebody is doing something that's wrong, and somebody is trying to draw you into their wrongdoing and you don't object, and you go along with it, but you don't want to do it, but you still go along with it, that's called a tacit agreement, a silent agreement. So us, whether we Stones, Disciples, Crips, Bloods, don't matter what we is, we got to realize one thing: the persecution of the leadership is a systematic method of oppression. It's called Hellenism. Look it up. Hellenism. Now, the best part about Hellenism is they tell you what it is. Georgetown University History of the World. It's a blue book. Look to the index and go to Hellenism and look up every part they talk about, and they're going to break it all down. Well, who in the hell is Helen? Helen was the name of a Greek deity. Now watch what they did. Originally in Greece, Helen was a man. But they want to take matriarchy out of the picture and replace it with patriarchy. So how do they do that? When the Romans take power, Helen became a woman. Helen became a woman because they wanted to disgrace her, but they also wanted to exalt the original Helen, the man. So this is when they say hell on earth is Hellenistic doctrine. We following Hellenistic doctrine. This is hell on earth. Hellenistic doctrine. Now, under Hellenism, when you have a leader that you can't control, a Shaka Zulu, who was actually reincarnated in Chicago as what we call him Jeff Ford or Chief Malik. That was Shaka Zulu in his past life. He might not remember in this one. He was Shaka Zulu. That's why he don't fucking bend. That's why he been in that single man cell all these years and they can't fucking break him. So y'all want to know what happened to Shaka? Shaka Zulu is in Colorado Max right now. So if you are a brother, sister over in the motherland and you want to know where the Shaka at, he is in Colorado Max over here in Amur Inca. I'm coming to get him. All right, so now the next thing is this. So now we understand who's who and what's what in this leadership game that they playing. So now what do they do under Hellenism? They take the leader that they can't control, they neutralize him in either of several ways. See that they're not authorized to personally kill him. So what they do is they can pay one of his own people to kill him. They can appeal to their sensitive troll, a Shaka Zulu, who was actually reincarnated in Chicago as what we call him Jeff Ford or Chief Malik. That was Shaka Zulu in his past life. He might not remember in this one. He was Shaka Zulu. That's why he don't fucking bend. That's why he been in that single man cell all these years and they can't fucking break him. So y'all want to know what happened to Shaka? Shaka Zulu is in Colorado Max right now. So if you are a brother, sister over in the motherland and you want to know where the Shaka at, he is in Colorado Max over here in Amur Inca. I'm coming to get him. All right, so now the next thing is this. So now we understand who's who and what's what in this leadership game that they playing. So now what do they do under Hellenism? They take the leader that they can't control, they neutralize him in either of several ways. See that they're not authorized to personally kill him. So what they do is they can pay one of his own people to kill him. They can appeal to their sensitivities or use threats of force, but one of his own got to do it. They can't do it or they'd have done it. Remember that. If they could have killed Larry, he'd have been dead. If they could have killed Malachi York, he would have been dead. They're not allowed to. It's against the rules and they know it. They don't tell us the rules. They know it. If they could have killed Chief Malik, he'd have been dead. They're not authorized to push that button. Only one of us can do it. And we not going to do it. They not authorized to kill Big Meech. Only one of us can do it. They not authorized because they don't have the blood, which is another video, Bloodlines of the Holy Grails and the Knights Templar, the Orisha and the Irish. That's a whole nother video. Remember that. That's going to be coming up later. So now, they take our leaders out of position, and then what they do, they install a puppet. They install somebody that look like you, walk like you, talk like you, act like you, came from you, but they put the words that they want him to say in his mouth. They control where he go on earth. They control how long he can stay married, who he marry, because there's certain women he ain't allowed to marry because they'll wake his ass up. No matter what race she is, it's certain women that these men in power are not allowed to marry because she will wake. When that love shit hit, it's going to wake his ass the fuck up. That mitochondrial is the most resonating force known to mankind. When that shit wake up in a wise man, a man of valor, Rajneesh or Osho says it best. A wise man is a fire, alive. No society wants you to be wise because you can't oppress them. You can't oppress them. Okay, now, so let's get into this. What do we got to do to get these leaders back in a position to heal our sick people? We sick, y'all. I'm not excluded. Don't get me wrong, I'm not excluded, but I know how to heal. And I know how to help heal. That's what I'm here for. I'm not excluded from being one of these sick people. Don't ever get that twisted. I'm not excluded. I'm sick too. We all need to be healed. Mama gonna heal us when she get here. Trust me. We all gonna be changed, whether we want to or not. And anybody that refuses to change is gonna be forced to change in the form of death. Mama don't play. Check your mind. She gonna be with you all the time. Now, that being said, the first thing we got to do is catalog our leadership by group. In other words, every leader that is considered a political prisoner needs to send me somebody that represent him so that he will have a voice when we vex these grievances under the Second Amendment in Congress. They got to answer. They do not know, I know what they know and what they don't. So when they see me, they're going to laugh. expect it. When I present the paperwork, they're going to say who wrote it. Understand me? So, we got more leaders persecuted than just the black ones. More leaders persecuted than just the black ones. Y'all got to remember that. Because these white people sick of this hate shit too. They fed up with it. They got signs all on Facebook. White people tired of this hate shit too. You can't. But the problem is this. And this is what y'all don't know. Everything look white ain't white. Visit J.A. Rogers. Study carefully the history. Everything that look white ain't white. Everything that look black ain't for you if you black. Everything that look Hispanic is not for you if you Hispanic. Everything that look human, not necessarily human. This is all known in the secret chambers, so they don't tell the public. Why they don't tell the public? Because they said y'all was mindless drones that can't think for yourself. So you catalog your leaders, and they each have to have a delegate, a representative that represent to say a quantity, the number. Because you have to have a census of leadership, and then all the leaders got to come together. They ought to all be on the same page. We can't have Jeff saying fuck Larry and Larry saying fuck Jeff and Malachi saying fuck both of them. It won't work. Because we coming out of the divide and conquer. The leadership got to be on the same page. The next thing we need is a particular platform. Now, I wasn't too thrilled until I went back and did the review of who I was told that I had to directly contact in order to fix this. Okay. Farrakhan. I done reached out to him. And right now he doing all his due diligence, background checks, trying to find out who this motherfucker is and where he came from. And he's sending fruit over here and fruit over there to try to find out where this paperwork come from that he sent me and what it really mean. If anybody know Farrakhan that's watching this or know somebody that know him, tell him this. Elijah Muhammad taught me personally through a radio head. If he need me to take him to the radio head, I can do that. Remember that. He'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and all members of the nation know what I'm talking about. Now, people gave Farrakhan flack for getting away from the original doctrine of Elijah Muhammad. I can't give y'all the reason for that until I talk to minister, but it's the reason. Everybody gave him flack about L. Ron Hubbard and Dianetics. And I can't tell y'all right now why he was sent to L. Ron Hubbard until after I talked to him, but it's a reason. Also, they gave him flack about the beloved Khalid Muhammad. That brother brings tears to my eyes because I miss him. And I wish I could talk to him. But here's the situation. I'm not the one who has to tell y'all why Farrakhan had to distance himself from Khalid. That's not my place. I'd be disrespectful and rude to do that. But it's a very good reason. And if you're not really sure what I'm talking about, all you got to do is peep your relationship with a father and a son break down. So I'm not going to get into that. That's not my job. But Farrakhan will know that I know the real reason he had to distance himself from Khalid. He didn't really know how to do it, and he didn't want to do it. And us looking onlookers, we never knew. I'm going to tell y'all this. Farrakhan don't know I watched him do this. He don't know I was watching because he was in his room. And I was in prison. But I'm watching him crying that he have to get rid of this brother. He needed that help bad. So if y'all don't want to wait for me to have a conversation with Farrakhan and y'all want to know why he had to distance himself from Khalid, there is a brother you can ask who is authorized to give the information freely and openly. And y'all know him as Bobby Hemmett. Bobby Hemmett can tell you the real reason Farrakhan was forced to distance himself from Khalid Muhammad, whether we like it or not. I'm not privy to that to tell y'all that. I know the information, and it hurts me when to even think about the information in my brain. Ask Bobby Hemmett, why did Farrakhan have to distance himself from Khalid Muhammad? And I'm going to leave that at that. So that's the extent of that. And then to wrap this up, everybody who see these men fighting for your people, whether you black, white, Hispanic, or Asian, it does not matter. And you watch this devil ride this man to the ground and that man didn't buckle, in Revelations there's a verse that say, many of you shall be thrown in prison for my name's sake. But fear not. Okay? So they all went to prison. They sitting there. Don't worry about it. Because when they get out, they going to have the best life they could have fucking imagined. They getting out. They getting out. I'm going to get them. And the government already know I'm here. It's not a secret who I am to them. It's only a mystery to y'all because even the adulterous generation seek a sign. But no sign shall be given except the sign of Jonah. Jonah was the reluctant prophet. And out of his reluctance, he went into the belly of the beast. Suffered the afflictions of Job. See, y'all don't read the Bible right because it's not for public dissemination. That's why they put it out in the public domain to confuse you. So these are actually levels of initiation. The reluctant one, the one who say, fuck them, they not going to listen. Fuck them, they not going to listen. Then when you get done going through your afflictions of Job, they call that the dark night of the soul. Look it up. St. John Assisi wrote about it and talked about it. And I think it was another one, I can't think of his name right now. I'll put it in the reference at the end of the video or I'll say it when it comes to me. Anyway, the dark night of the soul is when all the worst shit, Murphy's Law, is in your life. Everything that can go wrong will. Now, there's a reason for that too, but that's another video as well. So the dark night of the soul is the 3 days and 3 nights that Jonah spent in the belly of the beast. Now, they told us that Christ was 3 days in the tomb, and that's what that was. That's not true. You can't add 3 days from Friday to Saturday. I don't care if you cut the days into 12-hour blocks. You can't add 3 days from Friday to Saturday to Sunday morning. That's 2 days. Sunset Friday, all day Saturday, sunrise Sunday. That ain't even a whole 2 days. What they talking about? That's not the sign of Jonah. He wasn't in the tomb for 3 days. The sign of Jonah is the reluctant prophet. The one who tell y'all, I don't want to tell y'all shit because y'all not listening. That's the reluctant one. The one that sat back and watched everything go crazy while everybody is going crazy saying, why they don't just do this? But fuck them, I ain't going to tell them. They got it all figured out already. They don't need my help. So I sit back and watch. Now it's at the point where mama said, okay, baby, you go ahead and you tell them. Tell them. I said, mama, they ain't going to listen. She said, that ain't your job. Your job ain't for them to make them listen. Your job is to give them the message. So here's the message. In this era, going into the age of Aquarius, we are actually and factually writing a new program for existence. Now, these new programs come in glyph form, or what they call sacred geometry. So you'll find children and women especially that cannot stop drawing snowflakes, funny looking symbols, and they don't know what it is. All right, so this is what they call the convergence. It's all coming together now into a single point. Now, at some point in the next probably 2 years, everybody will be on the same page to get rid of the evil except the evil ones. And sometime within that, less than 2 years. Because mind you, for me to be able and allowed to tell y'all what I'm telling y'all now, y'all don't have to wait for the Christ no more. We just got to clean the house. I can't clean the house when you have those in the positions that need to go get the house cleaning supplies and bring them to me to clean the house. They don't want to listen. All right? So the house can't get clean. But I'm going to tell y'all this. If the house don't get clean, we got to start over. And we won't be the chosen ones next time. We got to start over. And we won't be the chosen ones next time. We will be replaced with a whole nother species. So, as the late great Stokely Carmichael would say, seize. Oh no, that wasn't Stokely. Was that H. Rap Brown? Seize the time. The time is now. The time is now. It's here. So we got two options. We can sit around, don't do nothing, and die like the rest of them with the wicked. Now, our death with the wicked will not be because we wicked. It was because we was refused to push the fear aside and embrace the. Y'all can hear me once I get. I'm just doing invite. Give me a I'm gonna see if you'll come in this. So let's see. I still don't see you. Trying to get Facebook to give us cooperation in this collab. So this video, I'm gonna go ahead and start, right, Jillian? And see if we can't get you in here sometimes during the course of the video. And we're gonna be talking about the fear of psychic phenomenon and how to overcome the fear. So as soon as I get a message for Jillian to either dive right into it or to give her a few more minutes, I'll know what to do next and where to go from here. I'm still waiting on her to get in. I'm gonna try again and see what happens, because we had technical difficulties on her end too. Okay, so I'm gonna start off by going into a experience of mine in the psychic arena that gave me a lot of cause for alarm had I not already known what to expect. Last year, 2018, was the first experience that I ever had where I could actually talk to a deceased person that came to me. And I was talking to one of the sisters, Malika, and her grandmother appeared to me. And it was first experience totally outside of my regular experiences and nothing I had ever experienced before in psychic phenomena. Now, I've been seeing future events. I've been intuitively knowing things since I was a child. Not to talk to people about it, because people that don't understand the taking place will put labels and tags on you, and that was one of the reasons that I was experiencing as a child, how to handle it as it came to me. I never seen it outside the norm, so I didn't develop a fear. Normally, what causes a fear is when you don't really understand something, it causes a condition that psychologists call cognitive dissonance. Yeah, that's Facebook. I don't know what these people doing with this video because they're not that Jillian, and then she's saying my voice is muffled. Am I muffled to anybody other than Jillian? Can I get a yes or a no? Because I need to know if I need to keep going or reset the video. Okay. So, let me see if I can ask Jillian.